For days now, I've been angry over the mock trial. Angry at how much people resented me for telling the truth, how they twisted my words and assumed my intentions. I'm angry. But that didn't mean I wanted to be, right? I would have been happy for reality to prove me wrong, for no one to buckle under the pressure of the killing game. But good endings like that only exist in stories. Reality was apathetic to what we wanted, and the events of today proved we were at its mercy. So I stood there at my podium, conflicted. To think this tragedy could have been avoided had people just listened to me. But who was it that encouraged everyone to turn on me? Who was it that encouraged everyone to trust each other? If Akira hadn't been so naive, he just told people to protect themselves rather than each other, then maybe he would still be here. Regardless, I can't let myself be consumed by the what-ifs. Although the others may have failed at preventing Akira's murder, I, at the very least, can solve it. I'll uncover this killer. Let them face the consequences of their actions. I'll solve this case and survive. Oh boy. Also, I just want to appreciate all of you for tuning in. This is my this is my second stream back since I streamed yesterday, but I haven't streamed or posted anything on this channel in over a year.
Started, shall we?
And I didn't realize the hype for Eden's Garden was this big. So I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Y'all very much so did not have to be here. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all are doing good. Enjoying it as much as I am. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone. Unlike previously, today will be no circus. No mockery woven with stitches and needles. A true, fair, and proper trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so, you must vote for who you believe is the blackened.
I always get so nervous at these parts. So nervous on the class trials.
If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing game experience.
Who are we thinking? I'm thinking Winona too, but it's looking like Diana, unfortunately. Project Eden's Garden is better than the OG. I mean, it's still very early in development, so it's a little too, in my opinion, it's too soon to say. I have to see, before I make a complete judgment, I have to, get to the end of it, you know? But as of right now, compared to the first game, at least, I'll say the first game, comparing it to the first game, it is a lot more fun.
However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, while the blackened will be granted release from this academy. Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
I just realized the dude has a buzz cut.
Can someone please break this silence?
I don't want to talk about this.
Wolfgang deserves justice, but putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
Diana's being framed. Who knows?
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed. Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Well, too bad. He's gone.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
I'm finna act up. You didn't hear that.
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this.
I forgot she's British.
Whatever it takes. No
Or
matter
is she
if I have to kick the
Scottish?
brains out of every single person here. I'll find you.
Is it British? Is it Scottish? It might be Scottish. It sounds like Scottish. Is she Scottish?
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Go.
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it. How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose?
Australian. Okay, that makes more sense.
That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line.
Oh, you caught up on the stream. Alright, that makes sense.
That's what you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer?
You know, one thing I love about the class trials is that I actually don't have to speak anymore. They do it for me.
Nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer. If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means. For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Hmm?
Are you accusing me of something?
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside.
Yeah, because they was getting freaky and they didn't want to let anybody know.
Intentionally or not, it really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented. You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
Eloise is eating. She is eating hard.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
She has an alibi, though.
Huh?
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone, 'cause she went to the game tournament.
Grace attended the tournament?
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Yes.
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like half an hour before the murder. Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, anyway.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
So, Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot thread resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
You were there. You were there.
So Jean, Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament.
And me.
And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Lying about Grace?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
No way,
If
he's
the
doubting.
8 of you were really together
Desmond,
when
don't be
Wolfgang
that
was
way.
discovered,
Come on, gang.
then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation? You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
But we did, though. What happened? Damon and me, we just found him like this.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
Thank you. The GOAT is speaking up.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs. I would know.
There was a blackout?
You don't remember?
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
Why is it that some people can recall a blackout, but not others? Thinking back on the testimonies I've collected, I could probably make an educated guess. One building. First one. It's a little too easy.
The reason not everyone experienced a blackout is because only the building containing our dorms was affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and
turn
tree
on
area
auto
are
real
connected
quick.
to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned? Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets. Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
Who tippy-toed from the room?
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and
The
inspected
bobby
a
pin kind of
storage room
point
each.
Diana being at the scene since she's a
Because of the dosage
cosmetologist.
ticket map, we know
True.
which ones do.
I forgot she was a cosmetologist.
Eva and Grace check
Yeah,
storage
it is
closet
not
A.
looking good for her, man.
Jet and I check storage
I
closet
really don't want it to be Diana.
Damon
really
and Kai
don't.
check storage closet C, and Jean and Mark check storage closet D.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me too. Yeah, we were together.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder. Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for it!
Relax. It is not that deep.
Whoa! Uncool, dude.
You think Diana's being framed? How so? There's no way it can be Eva, though. Because Eva was at the game tournament. And there's also no way that Eva could have snuck out from the power outage, killed Akira, and be back in time.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something.
Because we
about
also
his
heard
last known
footsteps
whereabouts.
leaving the boiler room. And if we heard footsteps, that means it was somebody else there.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
Grace and Loya Man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside. Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
Ugh.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Why would Ulysses know anything?
So if I'm getting this right,
I love Ingrid so much.
Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall. Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
For reasons.
Totally not suspicious.
It was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe.
I would have
I
won.
wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me. So when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
Since the room swap happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half. Ugh, gross.
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night. Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point? Like,
Let's see.
maybe he said something that stuck out to you?
Sorry for being quiet. I'm just... I'm processing.
Oh, maybe he had trouble
I'm
getting to
thinking.
sleep.
I'm reading the comments and silently theorizing.
No. Nothing weird happened last night. Nothing happened last night. But the morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Sick?
With a stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed. I was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement. And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
What did Grace tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
She withheld information.
Aye, that she did. Of course, since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her. If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game? No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Huh?
Rubber goose, green moose, guava juice, giant snake, birthday cake. My bad.
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld
information not to trick anyone,
but to
protect someone she cares about.
What then should we make up the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
What the hell do you
What
mean
contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Because he lied?
Good point. If Wolfgang really were bedridden, he would have stayed in his room.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend, like, 4 flights of stairs? It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick...
It's not my fault it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
Oh shit. I hate the non-stop debates. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna fail so bad at this.
Why don't you tell everyone the
Okay.
truth, Grace?
Tozu tablet, game tournament.
I've got nothing else to explain.
Okay.
The last
Let's
I saw
just
Wolfgang,
let's
he was
just
in our dorm room.
listen through.
Okay,
Listen through.
hear me out.
Game tournament,
Secret
fetch
hallway.
quests, blood
We would have
spots.
found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
There's a meter dispersal to Grace's testimony, but she is necessarily at fault for that.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
So it's not the time.
I've got nothing else to explain.
Okay, hold on. Fetch quest. She briefly encountered Wolfgang in the hallway. Fairly confident around the... Okay, we'll see if this
The
works.
last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallway.
Damn!
Cassidy's right. There's probably a secret
You can't just make up secret paths.
Yes, that's one of...
Touché.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Okay. That makes sense. That? There we go. Alright, there we go. I just had to wait a little bit. I was thinking, I just had to wait a little bit.
It's true Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body. But that's not Grace's fault.
Alright.
The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Yes. I remember now. Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication. The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face with Wolfgang.
Hold the phone. Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course, he never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm this?
I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange.
Would.
He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Winona ready to break legs. Turn to the chat for non-stop debates. Well, I don't want to be spoiled either.
Like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
So Grace says he's sick and didn't want to go to the tournament. Toshiko says he's healthy and wanted to go to the tournament. Yes. So Wolfgang, to elaborate, Akira told Grace that he was sick, but he lied. And so when Grace left to go to the tournament, he left the room, and that's where he encountered Toshiko, because Toshiko was coming back from the pharmacy after getting medicine for Ingrid. Oh shit.
The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink, but some parts are still legible.
Secret 8:15 a.m.
This mentions the boiler room.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket. It can't be a coincidence.
Alright, y'all are
This
probably
note
gonna
must
hear
be the
barking
reason
because the
Wolfgang
dog
went
is
there.
like right outside the window.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfie's reason had something to do with it.
Pathos are pink words, but at a different time. They apparently in the prologue.
Agreeing to meet
Okay.
a stranger in some spooky dark place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a
Ulysses.
note?
Not Ulysses? Ulysses?
No. The only
Oh,
time
shit.
I recall him
I've been saying
receiving
his name
anything
wrong.
was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note. Really? Wolfgang shared
Rantaro?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
Was to remove her from the picture. Yeah, once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs. That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other? Talk about double standards.
Interesting.
Are we sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace? Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Not to interrupt, but on the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For that reason, I implore you all to speak with the person whose blackmail you have, and them only. Even if the content of the envelope seemed horrible, give the person a chance to explain themselves.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what
Interesting.
you're putting down.
Interesting take.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came
You watched the
forward
entire
about
daily
it,
life and I'm the only one doing the trial right now? I just have... Are you sure? There was someone who streamed like the entire game yesterday. Or like the entire chapter. It was like a whole like 7-hour stream. It's on my recommended.
they
I mean, I
couldn't have
appreciate you
demanded
watching me.
Wolfgang show
I'm
it
just
to
surprised
them.
you haven't seen it.
Hence the mention of a secret.
Unless they didn't finish it. Multiple people did? Yeah, unless you wanted to watch someone live, which I guess that also makes sense. Everyone has a preference.
However, if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Oh, I've got just the idea. Yo! Person who Wolfgang had blackmail on! If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't
No.
forget the person with Wolfgang's
I don't wanna.
blackmail.
I don't want to give it to him.
Right. Hey! Person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail! If you're innocent, say something already!
If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I have Wolfgang's blackmail really guarantee my innocence in their eyes? I don't know. Although, everyone may follow my direction during the trial, since they can't ignore the evidence on my side. When it comes to me, of all people owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all of that? Does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether or not
I was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot. But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
Nah, not his.
Seriously?
This
Way
dude.
to be anticlimactic.
It's thanks to him that I have my own.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it, if you need the proof.
Ah, Wolfgang's envelope had the same signature.
I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should have all been said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude. My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth. Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Indeed. To
What is this
acknowledge
happy-go-lucky
one's own
music?
misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
He's very noble. I love her accent so much. If I reveal my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? No, they won't, bro.
I take it our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
No one's reciting shit.
It was only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Even if we knew who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his killer. It's annoying they won't speak up, sure, but unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it. This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people, especially now that he's gone.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
The cases, or...
Obviously, the case. The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
You certainly talk a lot stranger than you used to. But I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
No. Stabbed to death?
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near him. And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
No.
The knife was bloody, so...
Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway. While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
That would line up with how we found him.
The killer stabbed him. Follow. I didn't see any stab wounds. All right, non-stop debate. We're gonna listen through, and we're gonna see our options: storage closet, tablet, hands, blood spots.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor.
Okay.
And along the underground hallway.
That is true.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Nah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind, and the rest is history.
With that knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
True.
It all makes sense.
Alright.
The killer
Might be the
snuck up on
tablet.
Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
Yeah, the tablet. Let's go.
Jed, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor, but did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured. Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds. In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss. Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Hey, man! It's not like I didn't try! It's just... this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
Not everyone has the stomach for investigating. That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting. Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries.
True.
There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise and a tiny red dot. His hands were burnt too, so...
I think he was electrocuted
3
as well.
injuries in
There's
total.
too much evidence to say that he wasn't
Besides that,
electrocuted.
I caught nothing else.
The burns on his hands, the extension cable. But the thing with the electrocution is that if he was electrocuted, wouldn't the water still be electrified? The water wasn't electrified by the time everyone got there.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said. The burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of coronaparalysis.
Coronaparalysis? It's something which happens to lightning strike victims. Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking, some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know
It's
its
alright, they're
official
muted,
name.
don't worry about it.
Lots
looks,
of
good
people tend
looks.
to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure looks, the only reason he
Account
lived
switching
to see
is
the
sad.
next
That
day.
is very sad.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
What's good, Trey?
Well,
I wonder who the
if I
killer
had
could
to
be.
guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
We're trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
That's true, but he probably
Could
got
he not have been
electrocuted.
struck before the killing game?
Oh, the fucking the thingies on the taser were missing, so the taser could have been used as
Stronger
well.
than will, you know.
But I don't think a
Perhaps
taser
the
can
deity
burn
decreed the
someone
glow of
that
his
bad, right?
altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Nay, those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that. If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
The reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Something equivalent. The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back on the boiler room and what was inside it, Right. If I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold some weight. It's gonna be the generator.
This is it. Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
No, because people can survive a lightning strike for sure. And chances are he could have survived that, because if it was the generator, right? Let's assume that he put his hands on the generator, both of them. He could have survived that. There's no way he would have been therefore left kneeling over the platform.
Yes, I do.
He had to have died after that.
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief. What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely? Anyway, Ava, you agree the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Oh my god. Bro, we can't have
Two things.
nothing.
First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better.
Winona,
Charred beyond belief.
respectfully, shut up.
Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
On his arms, bro. On his arms.
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Funny how the standards shift, if so.
That?
Damn it. She's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. Wait, what? I am not ready. I'm about to fail this. Hold on. Watch this. Alright, we got the DJ. Hold on.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with.
Okay, time frame.
If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days.
Okay.
In which the generator might have been destroyed.
Yeah, the blackout is definitely connected to the Wolfgang's death. There's certain a piece of evidence which proves the two evidence are correlated.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of 4 days. While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days.
Okay, I was
in
not
which
supposed
the
to slice
generator
that.
might have been destroyed.
Alright, let's go.
What
I
about
did
the
it.
blackout? It's impossible for the generator
Thank you.
to
I did
cause
it.
the
It was
blackout.
all me. I'm joking. I'm joking. Thank you guys. Thank you.
It was
Thank you.
already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after the murder. You only assume it happened during it. Not the smartest argument from a supposed ultimate debater.
Dual cross swords. It's definitely connected. There's evidence. I have the
What about
evidence.
The blackout. The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after.
I'll cut through those words. When the blackout happened,
I love trying to figure this out on my own, because by the time I figure it out, I look over at the chat and it's just laid out for me. It's funny. I do appreciate y'all's help. I was going to be stuck on that part for a while.
Look at what time the digital clock is frozen on. It matches the time of death listed on the tablet. 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
I just realized, is this hat an alligator? That is so cool.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused...
Does everyone have animals
blackout occurred
representing
at the
them?
time of the murder.
Because Damon has a snake. What does Winona have?
There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
Hold on.
What do you suppose happened then?
What does she have? I'd assume she'd maybe be like a horse or something. Oh, wait, no. It's on her, Winona? I don't see anything representing on her. Oh, it's on her back. A lion. Okay.
The generator's destruction resulted in
the animal resemblance.
Water becoming
Then what does Winona have? Oh, bear.
Since Wolfgang
Okay.
was discovered kneeling in the water.
Does someone want to explain that to me?
Standing in it. At the time this happened.
The animal resemblances, like, and what they represent. Kai's a butterfly.
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
What animal is that? Is that a penguin? I can't see. Damon being a snake is interesting. It is. It is interesting.
Did you forget?
Eva is a crow. Oh, okay. It's not usually associated with good things. No, it's not. But also, like, with him being the ultimate debater, it kind of makes sense at the same time. Bear means leadership, and she's far outstanding out of her company, even surpassing her boss.
Because
Interesting.
it isn't even conductive. It's after Damon and I woke up in the boiler room. I wanted to investigate the flooded area, so I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Eva approach the pile of boxes and fish out a light bulb. Then, without hesitation, she chucked it in the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The
True.
reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water. If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state,
Interesting.
the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
Sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, your lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
That's... Is the generator really unrelated to the case? But the timing of the blackout's too perfect.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
It mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room. A toy gun or something. At least
a toy,
that's
sure.
how it came across.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Nope. The taser was definitely used.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired.
Oh, really?
Some are completely wireless.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know
For
that.
those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, There weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Desmond, it's not looking good to you.
Just think about it for 1 second. Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment.
Who bunked with Desmond?
Jet's got car batteries.
Who bunked with Desmond?
If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff?
Whoever bunked with Desmond had to have taken it, right? Or at least someone could have snuck into his room, at least.
What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps
Oh, it was
you
John.
spotted something
Okay.
inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed at my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocence will fool me, not when I know the truth. Oh, finally, I could just pick an answer. His talent, his charisma, his blackmail. I don't think it would be his talent. Blackmail, right?
I got it.
Oh my god, I am so good at this game.
The blackmail tools you gave us.
I mean, if I feel like it's Evo because some things point at her, she knows Desmond's blackmail out of all people.
You didn't get mine.
No. But the person who did informed me of what it said.
With his weapons at hand, Desmond guards the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep. No idea.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
True.
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone. He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns,
Interesting.
all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
This dude.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him,
Bantozu?
then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it is just a flimsy excuse.
Oh, wait. No, not the non-stop debate. Okay. Testimony, blackout, taser gun, fetch quest.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But if this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I was with Desmond.
I call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpfulness, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
When the murder happened,
Is Desmond innocent? When I compare the evidence to everyone's statements.
Desmond is the killer.
Okay, hold on. Blackout's definitely not it. Hold on. I want to try and figure this out myself before I check the chat.
Taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea.
I think it's the blackout, right? Maybe. Oh my gosh, I'm honestly so goated. Alright.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he
Grace
definitely
reminds
wasn't
you
involved in the
of
murder.
Mix and Mal.
Eloise can back me up on this.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the,
Is it actually the
time
top
of
hashtag on
Wolfgang's
Twitter? That's funny.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him? Should the wrong vote be cast? Nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
Facts. She's spitting. She
And
is spitting.
Even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice.
This chapter
to
is
murder.
literally a Lynch of your Elden Ring gameplay. I'm sorry. I just, take forever to read. That's really all it is. This stream is.
realized
I don't
Desmond's
normally
right.
stream this long.
But that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end.
Now, I thought that this chapter would have been like maybe 5 hours long, and no, it's definitely not. I can't wait for chapter 2 either, though.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS. Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
All in a day's work, babe.
My bad. I didn't mean to skip the goats dialogue.
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again. But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings. With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
And who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed. Doesn't
True.
exactly help us narrow
They're
things
spitting.
down, does it?
They are spitting. No, all the locks were broken on the door for sure.
Well, guess this taser gun
It
was a
wasn't just
bust.
Damon's.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie. If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead? You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Yeah, besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Wanna try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Okay, let's discuss the bruise first.
Alright, the bruise. It's gotta be the rolling pin.
I think it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
That is true.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight? Someone might have attacked him and aimed for his neck.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must have hit him. I got it.
Kai is right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Facts.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording
The
things,
dogs be barking.
do you know what that something
That was quick.
is?
Yeah, I knew the answer. I am getting there. I'm getting there. Oh my gosh, the support.
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on
Yeah,
earth did you reach
they
that
smacked the shit out of him.
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder.
Handprints?
Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is
I'm doing great. Let's go. 100 viewers. It says 92 for me. I appreciate all of you tuning in, though. Welcome, welcome. I see you guys lurking. What kind of food y'all got in the fridge?
Leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
I guess it makes sense.
100 viewers. I know one of you eating a PB&J. Damn, a lot of non-stop debates. What we got? Footsteps, storage closet, game tournament, still rolling pin. It's not gonna be the
So let me
rolling
get
pin
this
again.
straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin.
Yeah.
And then chucked the pin into closet A?
Had to be.
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the two of us went inside closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember?
Yeah.
Ed and I checked closet B.
Yeah, that's true.
Eamon and Kai checked closet C.
That is true.
Eva and Grace checked closet A. And Jean and Mark checked closet D.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before we came downstairs.
Fuck. My health is looking so low. This is not good.
Stairs.
I can't
and
deny
go back
that.
to their room. Immediately.
Oh, okay, there we go. Hey! 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 We did it. Hold on, we're cooking.
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time. When the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway.
That is true. We did hear
That's when
footsteps.
the demon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jen and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
Huh? You did?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people can attest to hearing them...
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running. Since
True.
everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So,
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on! So the killer had been right next to us?
Boy, that's a given.
Huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Well, they did it. So
If
I
they
don't see
attacked
what
us,
the
I would have
problem
ate their
is.
arm. That's all I'm saying. You know, sometimes if you get attacked, you just gotta take a big old bite out of somebody. Remember, there's no rules in a fight. So if you could take a chunk of flesh, take a chunk of flesh.
Sheesh,
For legal reasons, I don't condone this.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
Oh, but like when the lights came back on, right? Maybe they were coming back once everyone was in the room. They put it back in the storage room and then entered. So whoever was the last person to enter the room could have been the culprit. Oh my gosh, look at me putting the pieces together. See, I should really be I honestly, I think I'd be better than Sherlock Holmes. That's crazy.
For the two who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
It was kinda socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
True, and they weren't heavy.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
'Cause their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor.
Absolutely right.
Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
I know the killer has extreme anxiety.
What?
Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Is the killer
hold on, she might be cooking.
whose position we can't place?
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder.
True.
The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
In which case, our killer. That's right. The only one here who could possibly be the killer is. Yo, I was not listening.
It has to be you!
She's the only one without an alibi.
It's you, isn't
Please.
it?
Diana, our queen, our goddess, listen. Listen. Diana. You have, and I mean you absolutely have to prove yourself. Diana, please. Don't let this be the way you go out.
Huh? The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi. Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys, If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also,
True.
heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even think of it like that. You're totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi, right, Ava?
Hmm?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cash set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy
Can't be.
smokes, it's all falling into place!
Are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
I'll make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. Hey, 109 viewers. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. All right, what do we got? Bloodspot, steel rolling pin, storage closet, suspicious note. It's got to be the note.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Probably
Wounded
not.
herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree? The killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand, and the knife in the other.
No.
Dual wielding weapons? Holy, this killer's next level.
Person point is clearly impossible. They should realize as much of that piece of evidence.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's
It might be
blood?
the trail.
Are you saying she wounded herself?
Damn! Let me cook. Let me cook. I got this. I got this.
What makes you think that?
I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. Let me cook.
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree? The killer was wielding a rolling pin?
True.
Well,
Yes.
maybe they had both. The rolling.
No. No, because they had it on both. Oh my gosh, I'm cooking! Ah! Oh my gosh, I am literally him!
Wielding the rolling pin?
Oh my
During their confrontation with Wolfgang.
Can't nobody say that I'm trash at this game. Oh my
You can
lord.
Just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, which makes sense because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then, who held the knife?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room, Wolfgang Akire.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If
Yeah,
you were
but
in
there
his
was a knife
situation,
missing.
Wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. He'd know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find, either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Besides, If Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, aesthetically coming full circle? Yeah, it is.
Think about it.
It is.
She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving.
Because, like, there's nothing wrong with being cautious. I think that's what it was. He was being cautious, and that's why he grabbed the knife. I don't think he was going to go kill anybody.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury.
No one said you were stabbed,
There's
bro.
nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
No one said you were stabbed.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut.
True, but caution can turn to aggression really easy, especially in a stressful situation. True, but then at that point it's fight or flight. But also, I don't think with how Akire's character is, like, I don't think it would turn to aggression. He's never really been one to turn into like the aggressor.
Also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view. After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
What do you mean, someone like her? Elaborate. Hider wounds. Wolfgang's knife. Cowardice. Wait, what was his talent? No, he was a lawyer. Cosmetology, makeup. I'm honestly cooking.
As
You can't tell me.
Cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
Makeup. What does she have? Oh, she has the chameleon on her. Yo, that's actually so fitting. Because chameleon, cosmetology, oh my. Yo,
sense.
the developers are
With the right equipment,
cooking.
she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
No. No. But
Wait. Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
You guys know what this means, right, guys? Diana basically just confessed!
A confession? Are you for real?
We'll see how this goes. I feel like a plot twist is coming.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana got wounded.
The animal symbolism is really neat. I like Toshiko. She has a flamingo. Really? Which commonly mate for life. I did not know that about flamingos.
Which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room. All that stuff really did happen.
I see.
I guess that would
I
make
see
sense.
now what you were saying.
With flamingo, I can see the coloring.
Diana.
I don't know why I
She
didn't
lured
pick on
Wolfgang
that.
to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. How cruel!
Diana,
it wasn't me.
Alright, she said it wasn't her, so we obviously gotta trust her, right? I think Diana's innocent.
I promise it wasn't me.
She promised. She's even crying. The killer would never, and I mean never, absolutely would not, positively could not cry in their confession.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
True.
That's so fucked!
Hey, watch your mouth, bitch.
Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
Can we at
See,
least hear Diana's side of the story?
here's my thing. The moment you start noticing everyone jumping to conclusions, that's how you know it really cannot be the case. Because in Danganronpa fashion, the moment everyone starts jumping to conclusions without irrefutable evidence, therefore means that the person could not and would not be the killer. So, therefore, Diana is in fact innocent and could be being framed.
Well, you know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she says? Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is. If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No!
No! No! No!
We all have to vote. Proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the killer. Proven it beyond a reasonable doubt. Why is that when I hear her cry, I get this strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why all of a sudden do I doubt this?